Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Stu McCrawley coming with another video. Today, some more VGC 17 battles, rocking this Tapu Lele Driftbloom team that I've been using. I think this is the third episode or so. It's been pretty fun. I really like this team and the idea, the concept and stuff. Gives me some options to have some really strong offensive teams. There's some offensive Pokemon and even some setup moves like Dragon Dance, Swords Dance, stuff like that. So hey, their dance move. Maybe I'll add an Oricorio to this team. I don't know. I'm not promising anything, but my opponent had a team of Alolan Persian, Snorlax, Tapu Fini, Arcanine, Kartana, and Garchomp. So very similar to the team I used before. Very strong team. So I guess he brings the Snorlax. Well, so there's a lot going on here. I bring Pheromosa to deal with Snorlax in Persian, and Kartana if he does bring it. So the Tapu Fini is getting off unchecked here. Well, I guess I do have Poison Jab on Pheromosa, which is going to two-shot it, but I'm not bringing Magnezone just because he has the Arcanine and the Kartana. So he probably thought that he probably thought that my Magnezone was going to be Magnet Pull, which a lot of Magnezones run. Mainly to trap the Kartana and get rid of it with like a Hidden Power Fire. Or even 2 Thunderbolts is enough to do the trick. So Garchomp's not too bad here, but he does have Tapu Fini. So I decided to bring Gyarados instead for potential Intimidate for that Kartana and for his Garchomp. So let's go ahead and get into this first battle. And he leads Persian Snorlax with those beast balls, and I go with my typical Tapu Lele Drifblim here. So here I'm feeling pretty good since Persian cannot fake out Drifblim, and we're gonna get the terrain up, so fake out's not even gonna be able to do. He's not gonna be able to fake out anyways, but he can't bring in Fini and hit me with a fake out. So here I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go straight for the Tailwind. No reason not to really, and we see a parting shot onto the Tapu Lele. I'm like, okay, I didn't think his... Well, I guess since he can't fake out, there's not much this Persian can do anyways. So we're going to see Tapu Fini come in, change up the terrain, which is unfortunate because now my Psychics aren't going to be as strong. Not like it matters because I went for Moonblast into Persian. Since I was like, the Snorlax isn't going to be threatening anything, I can set up curses all at once. But I can burn it, I can hit it on the special side, but it actually sets up a stockpile. I was like, oh, that's interesting. The only Snorlaxes I've seen up until this point have been like Curse. So it was interesting to see that stockpile. But here I'm like, okay, Tapu Lele's not going to be getting much done here. So I'm going to bring in my Gyarados to get Intimidate off on this Snorlax and start setting up on it to be able to take hits from this Tapu Fini. So it's going to be a good switch in here for me. And he ends up protecting the Tapu Fini. I'm like, okay, it's fine with me. I went for a Shadow Ball there just to get some damage off. But here from the Snorlax, we're going to see Belly Drum. I'm like, what? I actually forgot that Snorlax even got access to Belly Drum. This is the first Belly Drum Snorlax that I've seen up until this point. So, and of course he's going to have the Berry. So it's going to put him back right where he was, full HP. So this Snorlax is going to be a big problem. So I switch up my Gyarados here because I want to save it. I go back into my Tapu Lele. Just to change it with the terrain, hopefully to get some damage off onto the Snorlax before I go down. So I go for Will-O-Wisp into the Snorlax. I'm like, okay, well, it connects. It's going to severely hurt its offensive pressure. And we do see a Moonblast from the Fini. And then my Drifblim slowly going to whittle me down. You can see it's like a 4 or 5 shot. But we see Facade from Snorlax. I'm like, are you kidding me? I guess it doesn't really matter because... I mean, if he wasn't burned, he still would have knocked me out anyways. So Fini's gone, which is really unfortunate because I'm not going to be able to get a Psychic onto that Snorlax would have done a lot. If I knew this was going to happen, I would have gone for Psychic turn 1 into that Snorlax. But here, there's not much Drifblim can do. I'm just going to slowly whittle down this Fini. And High Jump Kick from Pheromosa does connect, and it almost picks up the knockouts. I guess I wasn't surprised. I was just hoping that it would pick up the knockout. And we see Muddy Water, probably so that he could break my Focus Sash and knock me out. So Pheromosa goes down. I mean, I'm in a really bad spot. It's 2v4 right now. But Snorlax is pretty much taken care of. It's not going to be lasting much longer. So, and Tailwind's going to end, which isn't too big of a deal. The Pokemon we've seen haven't been the fastest. So Gyarados is going to be fine. It's not going to need Tailwind. The only problem would be the Persian, but Psychic Terrain is up, so Fake Out's not going to do anything. You're just going to have to be worrying about foul plays. So get another Shadow Ball off. And I was like, okay, I can Shadow Ball Earthquake here to pick up a double knockout. But of course, it's going to be Berry. That's of course the Wiki Berry. So I still get my Earthquake off. It's going to be enough to pick up the knockout on Snorlax. Not even half of Tapu Fini's remaining health. But again, next turn I can just Shadow Ball Earthquake again. So he keeps on Moonblasting the Drifloon. I think he should have gone. Well, I mean, I guess at the same time, he's not getting much damage off onto Gyarados anyways. So he brings back in the Persian. And here I'm like, I'm going to set up another Tailwind just to be able to outspeed this Persian. And it has foul play. So I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see how much this does. And it does over half. I'm like, holy cow, are you kidding me? So it's not looking very good. And I set up a Dragon Dance here. I'm like, I got to start setting up. I need to start like one-shotting his Pokemon. Maybe even picking up some double knockouts with Earthquake. But now after that, another foul play will knock me out. So here's a double target. Wish I would have protected that turn. But I was just kind of like, I need to set up. I need to get some Dragon Dances off. I need to set up and everything. So he's going to bring in Arcanine, which is fine because even though I'm going to be taking less damage from foul play, after the Moonblast, it's going to be enough to pick up the knockout. So here with Triple, I set up Rain Dance. I'm like, well, the only way I'm going to be able to win this is by knocking out the Persian. Because I didn't know what he had in the back, but I was like, it's probably going to be Arcanine since he hasn't brought it in yet. So I was like, if I could pick up the knockout on Persian, I can probably win. But after the Intimidate, it's not going to be enough. With Intimidate, I don't think it would have been enough anyways. Or if he didn't even Intimidate me, I don't think it would have been enough. So, Furt Coat coming in huge there. So, here I go for the Will-O-Wisp. Just need to get, or I mean, at this point it's over. I'm just like, play it out one more turn. So, foul play is going to do very little. And I'm like, I wonder if he's going to have electric, or wild charge, but it's actually going to be like the support Arcanine, so he's going to snarl me. So a 3-0 to my opponent. It was unfortunate for me. This guy's high ranked just because he's got one of those cheese teams where you see Snorlax and you're like, oh, it's just the typical curse, high horsepower return, recycle Snorlax. But because I mean, in game 2, that would have been, or if I knew what was going on, turn 1 I would have just psychic the Snorlax and it would have been over. So I mean, even if because you set up a belly, because it would have been a 2-shot. So if he set up a belly jump, it wouldn't have mattered. I would have outsped him. So there's nothing he would have been able to do. But I mean, at the same time, I think I could have won as well if I didn't, because I lost Tapu Lele for free. So because I wanted to preserve Gyarados just in case he did have the Arcanine in the back. But just losing Tapu Lele for free was kind of a big thing. I probably should have just let Gyarados go down, just gone for like an Earthquake or Waterfall into that slot, and then brought in Lele and just knocked it out with a Psychic. Because, I mean, Tapu Lele can deal with Arcanine fine as well, especially with Tailwind. And if it was Garchomp, I could have dealt with Garchomp. So, I just wish High Jump Kick from Pheromosa would have picked up the knockout. But, I mean, Pheromosa would have been nice. I mean, you look at 3 out of his 4 Pokemon I could have hit with super effective damage. So, probably should have saved, or I should have sacked off Gyarados and saved Pheromosa. So, I got cheesed. I still could have done something about it. It just sucked I lost Lele for free without getting any damage off. So, that's, so, in the future I'll try and remember that. But, I got cheesed. So, and a best of 3 I probably would have ended up beating that guy. But I still could have outplayed him anyways, so. Enough of that. We're going to go ahead and move into the second battle. My opponent had a team of Mimikyu, Nihilego, Tapu Lele, Torkoal, Lilligant, and Snorlax. So a lot of Snorlaxes, a lot of Garchomps. So, and then we're going to see the Torkoal, Lilligant, Core. So here I'm like, okay, the Mimikyu is probably going to have Trick Room, especially since he's got that Snorlax as well. It's really hard to use Torkoal outside of Trick Room, plus if you got that Lilligant using after you. But he's probably going to have Trick Room anyway, so I can try and deny that from going up. I still lead Feeny Drifblim, or excuse me, Lele Drifblim here. I decided not to bring Gyarados just because with Garchomp, if I'm at +2, I'll be able to knock out the Torkoal with an Earthquake. And if not, I can just Tectonic Rage it. I don't have to worry about my Waterfalls doing less damage with Gyarados or my Earthquake not KOing. So I go my typical lead, and he goes Mimikyu, Nihilego. So this is a little complicated since both of his Pokemon have super effective stab for my Tapu Lele, and I don't have Protect. So here I'm like, okay, the Mimikyu is probably going to have Trick Room here, so I actually don't even want to set up a Tailwind, because if he sets up Trick Room, it's not going to matter anyways. So I go straight for the Shadow Ball into Mimikyu, and here we actually see a Z move from him, and that's going to be the Ghost Z move. I'm like, oh man, are you kidding me? I was like, is it going to be a Z Destiny Bond though? Is he expecting me to go for that, or what's going on here? So no, it's actually a Never-Ending Nightmare, so it's probably a Z Shadow Claw into the Drifblim. I was like, I felt like that was an interesting play. I personally would have gone for the Lele, just because, I mean, Drifblim's obviously going first, so he could have, like, I still would have gotten Tailwind up. But I get the Psychic off in the Nihilego, and it's Focus Sash. I'm like, oh, this is actually going to be, or I was like, that's interesting. And Nihilego is actually going to be the one setting up Trick Room, which I noticed after, like, once Tapu Lele went before Nihilego, I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Nihilego gets access to Trick Room? So, sure enough, he does get the Trick Room up. I don't know where my Tapu Lele is going to fall speed-wise with his team, but he's going to bring in his own Lele. And I go for Protect here because I was expecting a Play Rough into Garchomp, but he might not have it, and he protects Nihilego. At this point, I was like, I don't really care about that thing. It can't threat, or it's not going to... I'd rather get rid of this Mimikyu since it threatens my Garchomp. And it's actually, even though it's resisted, it's still a 2-shot, thanks to my choice specs. I was just like, I hope it's not a damage roll. So the second one does pick up the knockout. So that's huge for me, because this is going to allow me to set up a Swords Dance with my Garchomp. And as you guys see, both my Pokemon are slower than his Nihilego. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to set up the Tailwind. So we do see Sludge Bomb into Tapu Lele. I'm going to hang on. So, and he's going to bring in Torkoal here. And definitely going to be the slowest Pokemon on the field. So an Earthquake here is really good for me, but because the thing is Torkoal is probably going to go for an Eruption or a Heat Wave, and he's going to bring back in Mimikyu. So I go for a Protect here. I want my Tapu Lele to go down. I want to see if he has Eruption. I want to see if he has Heat Wave. I want to see what he has, pretty much. Tapu Lele is not getting much done here anyways. It did its job. It helped me get rid of his Tapu Lele, which was the biggest threat to my Garchomp. So now it's a 2v3, but I do have Pheromosa and Garchomp. So, and Trick Room's getting close to expiring, so another Eruption, no surprise. It's going to bring Pheromosa down that Sash. You're going to see it does 30% or so to Garchomp, which is really good. So here I went for Earthquake. So here I feel like I could have played this one a little bit better, because I didn't know that Earthquake would pick up the knockout here on Mimikyu. I knew it would on Torkoal, but not on Mimikyu. So I was like, okay, well, I'll Poison Jab the Mimikyu and Earthquake, and then I'll hold on with my Focus Sash. But I forgot that Torkoal would bring me down to my Focus Sash. So I got lucky there that it did pick up the knockout onto Mimikyu, and it's going to be Nihilego, which is going to be his last Pokemon here. So it's over. Trick Room's expired. He's going to be faster than me like we saw earlier, but Sludge Bomb just isn't going to be doing enough. So here I go for the Tectonic Rage. That's going to seal it up. But I'm going to talk about that play that I had right there with when he had Mimikyu, Torkoal, and I had Pheromosa, Garchomp. So I went for Earthquake, which was a bad play because if his Mimikyu survived, then that could have been game over if he has Play Rough, because Play Rough probably would have finished me off, and I would have knocked out my own Pheromosa. So what I should have done in that instance right there was gone for the Tectonic Rage into the Mimikyu to guarantee the knockout, because I knew his Torkoal wasn't going to knock out my Garchomp, even if he had one more turn of Trick Room. But we saw Trick Room expired anyway, so even if he went for, he couldn't have gone Protect Trick Room, because I would have been able to just Earthquake, Earthquake, Earthquake if Pheromosa was gone. So that turn, I should have gone Tectonic Rage into Mimikyu, because that was the biggest threat. My only concern was Torkoal could have had Hidden Power Ice, but at that point, Pheromosa still could have ended up winning me the game. But that's what I should have done. I remember I was thinking about it for a while, and I thought that was the best play. In my mind, Pheromosa was going to move before Garchomp, but Garchomp was going to move before Pheromosa. So that's what I should have done, was Tectonic Rage into Mimikyu. That would have guaranteed the knockout. And even if it didn't even if he protected, my Pheromosa would have attacked into the Torkoal, and it would have reduced the strength of its eruptions. So, and plus that was the last turn of Trick Room anyways, so Torkoal was no longer going to be a threat. I just needed to get rid of that Mimikyu, because Mimikyu, as we saw, was faster than my Garchomp. So if my opponent would have protected his... Actually, I don't even know. We never even saw the Mimikyu protect, I don't think. So I guess there's still a lot that went on there. My opponent probably could have played better and ended up winning. But once again, getting cheesed with that Trick Room Nihilego. So if I knew, or going into like a game 2 or game 3, I would have known. Well, I guess Mimikyu could also be carrying Trick Room, but knowing that Nihilego carries Trick Room, that its Focus Sash changes a lot. Because turn 1, I would have just Trick Room Psychic, or not Trick Room, Shadow Ball Psychic into that slot. But I don't know. So that's something I needed to do better, because the Torkoal was no threat to my Garchomp. I just needed to get rid of that Mimikyu. So luckily I did underspeed it, and Earthquake plus 2 Earthquake was enough to pick up the knockout. Garchomp is just a beast, so I had that 1-1 today, getting cheesed in both games, but it is what it is. Now I know, well, I'm never going to expect a Trick Room Nihilego ever again, but I know that I can expect a Belly Drum from Snorlax, and just get rid of it as soon as possible. Just get a little bit of damage off. Pheromosa can come in and do like 80-85% with a high jump kick. Tapu Lele would probably do like 80% with a Psychic into it. So I'm gonna keep those things in mind. I'm still learning. That way in the future I don't ever get cheesed. But that's pretty much gonna be it. Still gonna be using this team. I don't know if I'll be, or I don't know how much longer I'll be using it. I mean, this is only the 3rd upload, I think, so it's gonna be for a while longer. But that's pretty much going to be it. If you guys got any suggestions for me, let me know. If you want to battle me, also go ahead and let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.